Hey guys, this is Andrew. And now, as some of you guys may know, I like to get online and I like to find people online that are misrepresenting Christianity or people who are bashing Christianity, and I like to talk to them and debate with them. Now, this is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because, well, I find it enjoyable. I think it's fun, regardless of how the outcome goes is still fun to me. Now, it's a bad thing because sometimes that tends to get into my personal relationships, and some people don't like that. And sometimes I go a little bit overboard, and then I end up upsetting people. But that's a different story for another day. So, anyways, as you can imagine, I've come under a lot of like attacks and insults and stuff like that. Now, one thing I want to tell you guys is before I start with the uh, Bible lesson of the day, I don't really care what people say about me, especially not people like over the internet. I mean, they could say whatever they want to about me. It doesn't really matter. The one thing that I never do is I never use any sort of vulgar language in my arguments online. That's my one rule that I have, that if I had to resort to swearing or using insults or whatever as a method of attack, then I'm not really much of a... Well, that's not really Christianly in this, plus it's not really a very good method or strategy to argue. So therefore, whenever someone, decides to insult me or swear at me for in an argument or something like that, I always tell them if you can't argue without using vulgar language or something, then it basically makes you look like an idiot, because you're the only one that's really making a fool of yourself by swearing at me and making yourself look like a jerk. It has nothing. I mean, it doesn't affect me at all. It just makes everyone else look kind of dumb. Now, one thing I will note is that I don't directly insult somebody. If someone says, I was arguing with this one guy one time, and he said, "You're no world-class scholar, so why don't you shut up and leave it to someone else?" And I said something along the lines of, "Yeah, you're right. I'm no world-class scholar, but by the way you carry yourself and by the way you act and talk, neither are you, buddy." And then he got mad at me, cussed me out, and then bashed Christianity, and then I made a rebuttal with John chapter 15 verses 18 through 25, and I basically told him to have a good day, and I hope, whatever. And he deleted his comment, and he went on his merry way. I found it kind of funny because sometimes, I will admit, sometimes I like getting under people's skin, unintentionally, if that makes sense. And I'll put John chapter 15 verses 18 through 25 on the screen then, but it's a lot for me to read, so I'm not going to read it. But I'll just cut out right now, and then I'll put it up for about a minute or about 30 seconds, and then I'll be back. So until then, I'll be right back. Okay, so basically, now that you saw that little verse, basically that I like that verse a lot because it tells me that basically we're going to be hated no matter what because we follow Jesus. And to be honest with you, that's okay. I guess, well, it's not okay to be hated, but the world will be what the world is. It's a lot of idiots, a lot of jerks, and all that stuff. So basically, that tells me that it's okay, that we shouldn't, like, be so disgruntled because we're doing the right thing. Now, another thing that this kind of verse reminds me of is kind of like a video game type deal too. It's kind of like if you're going the right way, you'll face enemies. If that makes sense, like you can always tell in like a game if you're going the right way. You find enemies you're going the right way. In most cases, I'm not going to talk about gaming for very much. That's just the one thing that always kind of stuck with me. Now, this is true in real life too. As Christians, we follow Jesus, and people hate Christians. They hate, like, the Bible, they hate God, and stuff like that. Now, this is just like a short video. I'll get more in depth with this some other time, wherever I actually have notes and stuff, but I don't have notes. I just have Bible Gateway open on my computer right now, and I am just recording. So, yeah. Basically, it's okay because they hate Jesus, they're gonna hate us too. Because no matter what happens, we will never be as good as Jesus. We will never be better than Jesus. People will hate us even if we are doing the right thing, and even if, yeah, it doesn't really matter what you do. If you're a Christian, someone will hate you. End of story. Now, another verse that kind of goes along with this too is Romans 12, Romans chapter 12, verse 2 is this: do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, and His good, pleasing, and perfect will. And to me, that kind of says, like, well, obviously you should not conform to this world. You should not we are in this world, but we are not of this world. We do not, as Christians, we are called to be kind of like role models, I guess, in a way. That's the best kind of thing I can think of. So, what role models are is kind of like leaders, basically. So, like, you have leaders that are above other people. No, that sounds bad. Not really above other people, but they kind of like a better example of what people should strive to be. That's what I mean. Now, what I mean by this is that you have people who are quote-unquote leaders and kind of like showing people the light and what they're supposed to be doing, and we should not partake in the evil or bad things that the people under the leaders are partaking in, if that makes sense, and that doesn't make it sound like Christians are better than everyone else. Because we're not better than anyone else. I'm no better than a murderer. That's just that. I really wish I could have worded that better. So yeah, basically, we should not partake in the evilness of this world. We should not go out and do drugs and do whatever the world says we should do, whenever it's not what God says we should do. As Christians, we're supposed to be the light, and we're supposed to show people the correct way, and not the correct way to behave and what to do and what not to do. That's kind of why, and this all ties in with the how to deal with haters theme that I was going on, and so kind of got off track a little bit, but now I'm back. Basically speaking, if they hate you, they're gonna hate you no matter what. Don't let it bother you, because people are jerks, and no matter what happens, God will always love you. That's why you should not let people hating you bother you. And if you are letting people's hatred towards you bother you, then you should, I don't know, you should consult somebody, you should tell somebody about it, you should talk to God about it, and you should, like, I don't know, just don't retaliate in a violent way, because if you retaliate in a violent way, not only are you doing something illegal, you're also sending a negative view of what Christians are like. Because people are going to see that on the news or whatever, and they're going to say, boy, if that's what a Christian's like, I don't want to be a part of that in that respect. So that's why we should not conform to the world by doing, like, the bad stuff that the world does, and we should not let the hatred of the people bother us. They are also only proving the Bible right by hating us, because that's what Jesus said. Therefore, they are only proving Jesus right by hating us, because Jesus said that we would be hated. And as you can see, we are hated, and that is that. Anyways, I think that's about it for this video. I know it wasn't very great, and I want to go more in detail with this, I do. But, I don't really have much time as I thought I would have on this video. And I wanted to keep this one shorter than the other ones, so, I will go more in detail on this later on, whenever I have more thoughts, like, able to think better and stuff like that. So, until next time, I guess I will see you guys later, and may God always be with you.